willing to go into at all why you think you were healthy scratch for the final 5 games of the year?
No, it's not my decision anyway, so I can't really get into it because I don't know.
Okay.
You said you don't know, as in you don't know why you got healthy.
No, I'm sure there's reasons for it, but nothing that either one of us were obviously willing to discuss. But I'll just leave it at that.
But you have had conversations with John Tortorella about, his reasoning and his decision making.
I'm not going to go into that actually.
Okay, I mean, I'm not asking for what he said. I'm just,
Yeah, we
you guys
talked,
have
but not
okay.
not a whole lot.
Okay.
Where do you feel like the relationship is? Obviously, you're going to be away from him for a while, but I mean, do you feel like it's at a point where it can't be salvaged? Or?
No, I didn't. Well, the way I put it, I love being a Flyer. My whole life I've wanted to be a Flyer. Now that I am, so I don't take it for granted at all. It's something that means a lot to me. So I'm not gonna, we're not gonna let any relationship stuff get in the way. He's the coach of the team, so you got to respect that, and I respect what he does. Do I agree with it? What happened in the last 5 games? Absolutely not. I think it's ridiculous that I didn't play the last 5. That's one thing, but he's also the coach of the team. It's not my job to decide that. All I can worry about is being a good teammate, which I think I did. Tried to stay out of the way, and I don't want to be a distraction to anybody. These guys had stuff to play for. There's milestones guys are trying to get to. Guys are trying to play for contracts next year. I don't know how many guys are due up, but all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to be a distraction. That's why I was glad there was no. I know you guys are writing stories and all this, but it was more about for me what them guys were doing. I was done. I wasn't playing, so it made no difference at all. And just try to be around, be a good teammate, watch the games. There were some good games, some good stuff happened. Keep watching guys like Tip and all that, and just try to take that approach for what am I going to do for my own. I wasn't playing. It is what it is.
So just to be clear, you do want to come back next year?
I plan on being back. I want to come back. I have no clue what's going to happen. That's not my decisions. But I'll be training and getting ready to play another season here yet.
Bradshaw kind of took a large hand in how the defense was, kind of what you guys did, the game plan and all that stuff. What was the relationship like with him and if maybe Torts didn't give you the answers you were hoping for about why you're out, was Brad sort of more the guy who kind of say, hey, nuts and bolts, this is what we need from you, maybe this isn't what we were seeing?
As far as you asking, like, in the last week here?
Yeah.
No, I didn't speak to him in the last week about any of that kind of stuff. Not his decision. It's coming from above him. But as far as the coach, I thought he was good. Real smart hockey guy, high hockey IQ, so it's kind of somebody you could talk to that sees the game in a sense that a player would see it from. When we're watching video together, for example, he may see something, when you're watching the game just as a fan or just as a, in the moment you see something, you're like, what the hell? But then if you watch back and you could kind of explain to him what you were thinking maybe, he was pretty on the ball, being able to understand where your head was at and stuff. So I thought he had a good hockey mind. Enjoyed kind of going over that kind of stuff with him and giving him my perspective on the way I seen the game. I see it a little bit differently, I think, than some guys do, and I have a different opinion on the way it should be played. But he was good all year.
I mean, there were portions of the season where it felt like the power play was starting to get on track. A couple games here and there. How would you assess as kind of where that went this year?
I thought the power play stunk for a little while. And then I thought there was times where it was real good and we couldn't score. Then there was times where it was average and we were scoring. I'd say inconsistent would be the biggest thing, but you also ton of different units, different guys that were on it as far as when guys were out, and then guys that were playing better, then all of a sudden they're on it. Chemistry-wise, consistency-wise, I don't think we ever really got into something specific, where it was just like you watch these teams around the league, like Washington's been the same unit for 10 years. Now, obviously, they have the best goal scorer of all time on the unit, but it's like just, an example, when you need chemistry, you need to play together. So you need 5 guys that are together for at least a few weeks, you would say, just to start getting something going. We probably, maybe the 5 of us didn't deserve that at the time, and I understood what Torch was doing, trying to, given that guys were playing well, they were going to go on it as a reward. If guys weren't playing well, they were going to come off of it. And we kind of just never really found a groove, maybe the last 2 weeks before the last 5 games. But we started getting a little bit of a groove. But just overall, just not. I'd say chemistry might have been the biggest issue, and that just is what it is when you're in this kind of position with a team.
Tony, you weren't the only veteran scratch this year. You also weren't the only guy to say there wasn't that much communication between you and the coaching staff as to why or moving forward. Was there some camaraderie among you guys who went through that? And, did you guys talk it out at all about how to handle it?
No, hopefully not everybody's been scratched. I've been scratched enough in my career that it's a coach's decision, and sure, we all talk we all talk like you guys would assume and give our opinions to each other and stuff, but not about that. We're not going to, the coach makes his decision, and it is what it is. I would say 99% of the time a guy's going to disagree when he gets scratched. So is he going to come out and say it to him? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm more along the lines of a person that probably will. Maybe that's my problem. But, no, you got to respect the coach's decision no matter where you're at. It is what it is. We're getting paid to play, not to coach. So if you're scratched, and you just try to get yourself back in. Unfortunately, for myself, I wasn't able to get back in, so that sucks. Missing the last 5 games is brutal for me because you don't get to compete, play. Watching the game last night, loved to play with Bronner, one final game. We became real close as buddies, so I would like to be in there with him, and who knows, maybe could have helped him get that 200 point. I still think the NHL greased him out of that first one. I don't know what you guys seen. Maybe he got a stick on there. I don't think they knew. They probably don't know he's at 199, but just that kind of stuff you get to miss. So, but no, we don't sit and gossip that much about that. It is what it is.
Tony, you mentioned that you want to be in Philadelphia. It's been your dream since you were a kid to be a Flyer. You also mentioned that relationship with the coach, you're not necessarily going to let that stop you from still wanting to be a Flyer. But is it hard for you to stay in a place if maybe there isn't a strong relationship with the head coach?
No, I mean, like I said, I got to play, and I got to play better. So I'm pretty accountable on myself. I feel like, did I have a good year offensively? Probably. I was probably pretty, in my opinion, I was pretty good with the puck. And did I have the points that I probably think I should have had? No. Lower year than I would have expected, even in the 70 games. But there was other stuff that I didn't do as well. I didn't think I was great defensively all the time. There were some games where I was real good. Early in the year, I thought I was really good defensively. Then kind of dipped, and as the points weren't coming, it was all over the place. Too inconsistent. I thought it was very frustrating for myself to be that inconsistent this year, especially after the year I had last year, and where I thought I was very consistent. So that's not his fault. I can't blame Torts for that, me being inconsistent, him not being happy about it. That's stuff that I take responsibility for, and I was pissed about. So it was a disappointing year for me in that sense. I thought I did a lot of good things with the puck. Without the puck, average at best. Some games really good, some games terrible. And that's when you're getting paid $5 million, to me, you really can't let that happen. And I take a lot of pride in being worth what I'm getting paid. People think the guys get paid and they don't really care. Maybe that's the truth for some guys, not for me. I think it's I carry more, and especially being a Flyer as well. So that bothered me. But yeah, having said all that, that would make me want to come back even more. I don't care who the coach is. I want to come back, and this is where I want to be. I want it to be a Flyer forever. And as far as what's going to happen, I can't tell you what's going to happen. Even if I'm back next year, if I'm back after that year, I can't tell you what's going to happen. But as long as I want it here, I'll be here.
You were paired with Provorov in training camp, and the feeling seemed to be they wanted that to be a steady pairing throughout the year. Why didn't that work out?
That's another one for the big boss there.
Well, from your perspective.
I thought we were real good together in the first 15. I don't know how many games we played together, maybe 20. I forget exactly what it was. It was switching after that. I thought we were real good together, and I love his game. I like the way he holds on to the puck. Not many guys, I'm sure you guys have noticed over the years, could cut the net like he does and escape away from guys and hold on to the puck. He's real good at possessing it. He's a one-man breakout half the time. Good skater, good defender. I thought we were good. We kind of got in a position where we were getting beat up pretty bad. We had that 10-game losing streak, and we were still together at that time. We were real shorthanded. We were missing, I think, Lottie, TK, and JVR at the time on top of Cam and Coots. So we were beat up. We were kind of beat down offensively there for a bit. And then obviously that's when changes start to happen. When you go through stretches like that, we make the change, and I don't think we ever went back together. Maybe a game, maybe a couple shifts in games when we were down. So, I wouldn't say disappointing because I don't really care who I play with. Anybody you play with is a good player, and you want to make it work with them. But we'd like to play together a little more probably. I don't have an answer as to why or why we didn't get back together, why it did end at the beginning. That's not stuff that really comes up.
Tony, you're going to get two key players back next year, Atkinson and Coots. Do you think this team needs to make a lot of moves in the offseason?
I put my GM hat on.
There you go.
That's up to Danny. I mean, those two guys to me this year, if you have them from the beginning to end healthy, I don't know, we had what did we finish, 75 points? Playoffs was 93? I don't know. You start to creep up there pretty quick, I think, with those two. It's 100-plus points in offense that we didn't have. So I don't know. It's tough to say, we would have had 9 more wins. I have no idea what we would have had. But two really good first-line players on a lot of teams in the league. So when you're getting those guys back, you're replacing, two forwards with two first liners. It's a big difference. So I don't know where we would have went with them, but I think that it's almost like two free agent signings at this point because they haven't played in so long. So maybe that's the moves they make. I don't know. But to me, getting those two guys back in, they play in all situations. You got your top faceoff guy, your top center, your power play guy, your top penalty kill guy most likely, and you got your maybe your second top scorer as far as goal scoring. It's a big difference. You're looking at 50 goals probably there. So 50 goals that we could have used. So I don't know. Those are two guys I'm hoping they get to play with them and be back on hopefully on a power play with them, whatever the case may be. But huge guys added to the lineup, and I'm sure Frosty, Tip are going to take another step like they already have. You got Tice, that was really good when he played. Probably if it wasn't for the playoffs, would have stayed up. So I've said it to you guys all year. A lot of positives, more positives than people probably think we have coming, and that's what happens when the young guys get to play.
You mentioned kind of some of those young guys there at the end who, as you said, you were watching their career years towards the end of the season. How much can guys like that taking that next step also help you guys maybe not speed up the rebuild a little bit, but maybe not make it take as long?
Yeah, there's a step that they all took, and then there's probably another step for them as well. And I think that you see the skill like a guy like Frosty has. He could probably even take another big step, I would think. And his ice time probably fluctuated throughout the year. I know he was down a little bit, and then he was in and out, whatever the case may be. And then when he started to play consistently, I was just reading something. Maybe one of you guys had it up, actually. I read all this stuff just so you guys know. 41 points in his last 50 games. Is that maybe? Or last 60 games, whatever the case, something like that. You're putting up numbers like that with his skill and playing with good guys and playing on special teams. I think there's another even level for him to get to. You guys see how good Tip was playing. So the important thing for them is, from past experience, I would say, is you get the ice time when your team's in a position that we were in. Like you get in 20 minutes a game. You may not get 20 every night now because we're going to have Cam and Coots back and all that kind of stuff. So they got to keep finding ways to produce and play in maybe a little bit less, and still find a way to jump to the next level. Because as a team fills out and you get more depth, not everybody could play 25 minutes a night. But they're really good, them too.
One thing, whatever good or bad happened this year, when he was healthy, Carter Hart was just very consistent this year. What does that mean for the team?
Yeah, it's the most important position. Without him, might have had some more struggles there this year. He was really good. First 20 games, we were probably floating a little bit over 500, I would say, or close to it. And he was probably the sole reason. We were, there were some games where it was 45 to 20 on shots, and we were winning 3-2. Really good goalie. He's good in practice, works hard. He's a crazy preparation. He's a very focused and determined guy. And that's what you need in the net. I think you guys have been waiting for a goalie for a long time, and we got one.
Tony, the organization put a pretty big emphasis this year on the identity of the city and just getting back to what made the Flyers great in the first place. How do you think that developed throughout this year?
Yeah, I think it developed pretty good. I think we were a respected team as far as if you look at our lineup. If you were an opposing team, you don't know how much you want to play the game, if it's a certain score especially. But having guys like, and it's not even all to do with fighting, but having guys like D'Lo in the lineup and what he's done for us this year and the way, you look at the game in Ottawa, I like that a lot, what he did there. Yorkie gets hit when a guy skates probably 140 feet down the ice, and one of our, top young prospects is going to get hit like that at full speed from a big guy. And then that guy, he hit him, but he also knew that something was coming after that. And that kind of builds a good identity for the team, and it protects the young guys. It gives the young guys a little more leeway on how they're going to play the game. Gives them just a little, I'm trying to think of the word, I'm missing it here. But they just feel better about what they could do on the ice. You got D'Lo, you had Seals, you had myself, you had Pepe when Lemieux came in there. And Lots was picking up for JVR a couple nights ago. I love that kind of stuff. JVR's 30-something-year-old guy, and he's bigger than Lots, and you got Lots trying to tackle one of the Columbus D for him. So that's the kind of locker room I think we've built, which is really good. And it's needed. It's needed all. You guys will see it, obviously, in the playoffs coming here. That's what's needed. You need a locker room like that, guys, that take care of each other and pick up for each other no matter what. We're 25 points out of the playoffs, and we still got guys doing it. To me, that means something. It may not mean something to everybody, but it does to me. You could kind of throw in the towel with 8 games left as far when it comes to fighting, not your work ethic. But some guys say, am I going to jump in and fight? We had guys getting in there, picking up for everybody no matter what happened, and that's the way to do it.
So assuming you're back next year, Torts is back next year, how do you sort of get, iron out all those inconsistencies in your game the way he wants you to play, so everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, it's not even what he wants as far as that's on me. You know, like I said, I'm not going to criticize Torts for pointing out that I made some bad plays defensively. That's not on him. I'm not going to get mad at him for it. That's me. So that's where I need to do a better job. I felt like maybe I was pressing for offense a little bit almost to produce the way I thought I should be producing. And I don't like making excuses. That kind of sounds like an excuse. I just got to be better defensively. I'll put it to you that way, and better overall in a consistent manner. There was times where, beginning of the season, I thought I was playing my best hockey I've ever played in the league. I thought I was playing really, really well, and then it was just from there up and down. There's some real good spots. So I was like, all right, we're getting it back a little bit here. We're pushing in the right direction, as you know, and then you have a game where it's down. You know, I remember the one game against LA where I thought I had one of my worst career games, and that was right after I thought I was playing pretty good. And then, you know, one or two, and that's really never happened in my career. I felt like I've been consistent for the most part. So that's something I'll fix. So I got a sour taste in my mouth of the way things ended. So to go have a good summer training, get healthy, all that kind of stuff, and then get ready to go again. And I'm pretty confident I'll have a real good year.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything. Have a good summer.
You too.